And we're on. Cool. It is Python Thursday. And let's see, it's December 10th. And I think we got some Python to talk about.
We do. So I got seriously motivated by 24 pull requests to try and get some stuff done.
Nice.
So I put in a pull request that got accepted on GitHub3.py.
Awesome. What is that?
It is a Python wrapper around the GitHub API so that you can interact with GitHub through your Python code.
Very nice.
And that one got accepted after a couple of edits and merged in. And I have a pull request on Hypothesis, which is a testing library where you sort of give it an idea of what it is you want to test, and it will try a whole bunch of random data and find different ways that it fails.
Oh, nice. So it kind of finds edge cases?
Yeah.
That's pretty cool. I've never heard of it. You said it was called Hypothesis?
Yeah. I'll put it in the links in just a minute. So there, when I looked at GitHub 3, it seemed like there'd be a bunch of low-hanging fruit that I could jump in on and work on, but there was really only one thing that I found that I felt like I was able to understand it enough to be able to help. With Hypothesis, there's a bunch of stuff that he has on there that's relatively easy. So the first thing I did was for floating point numbers. You can tell it that your function is expecting floating points, and I put in flags for eliminating either not a number or infinity, so that you can rule those out as edge cases. And now I am working on a fraction class.
Cool. What does that do?
So that you can, if your function's expecting fractions, you can generate them. And he's got a whole bunch of behind-the-scenes stuff that you need to put together to make it work.
So how do you represent a fraction? Is that like in an object?
Yep. Python has a fraction class, which is basically you put in a list of two numbers or tuple, and it treats it as numerator and denominator. Or you can put in a floating point and it'll convert it to a fraction. But this generates random fractions and gives ways to simplify it. And so there's a lot of sort of infrastructure that has to be built before it'll work.
Okay. Well, that sounds pretty cool. So I guess my question is, I went out and looked at 24 pull requests this past week too. And all of the suggestions, like you were talking about, they didn't have that low-hanging fruit. There was a lot of projects that had issues out there, but they were very, at best, they were really specific, and you kind of had to know the code base and be very familiar with the code to be able to jump in. So there was a lot of kind of upfront work that you would need to do. How did you find open source projects that had that?
I got lucky.
There's no method to it?
No, I just looked at it, and so for the GitHub interaction, it was a lot of changing the directory structure of the testing files, and pulling JSON data that was inlined into the Python out into a separate file.
Okay.
So I just happened to be looking through the issues and saw an issue where it was nice and easy to deal with. With hypothesis, it was something where I looked at it and I said, you know what? Filtering out infinities and not a number from floating point numbers, I should be able to handle that. So then I went in and I undid that so that it would work without a problem.
Nice. And how did that pull request process go? I've submitted now some pull requests to people I know, but I haven't I haven't submitted a pull request to an open source project yet. I haven't found that one to.
It went fairly well. I submitted the pull request, and the next day I got responses. There was the guy who owns the repo wasn't the first one to respond. There was someone else who apparently is a major contributor who responded first, and then the actual owner responded with suggestions after that. And it took a couple of iterations before I was able to answer all of the requests that they had and clean up what I had done. And then they also wanted me to rebase it so that all of my commits were a single commit.
Okay, cool. Did you do the rebase dance?
No, I didn't. I should have.
Why not? Why not? I heard rebase dance.
There, happy?
Yes. Continue.
So that was my experience with that one. With Hypothesis, I made the pull request last night, and I haven't heard anything about it yet.
Right on.
So we'll see.
Well, good work. Congratulations. I assume that's your first open source pull request, or first two?
Those are my first two, yep.
Awesome. Good job. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Let's see. Hey, Shane, how's it going?
Pretty good. How you guys doing?
Hey, doing good, thank you. What have you been up to?
I'm kind of going to the other side. I've been dabbling on the free code camp JavaScript. So that's kind of what I've been up to. It's pretty addictive. But after I get to a point, I'll probably transition back, you know. Definitely a lot of differences in just kind of how the language works with that. But, you know, I've been coding every day for like the past 2 weeks now on this free code camp, and so that's been keeping me kind of busy.
Cool. Yeah, I listened to the CodeNewbie podcast episode that was about free code camp, and it sounded like a really good service that they've set up there. I guess service is the right word. It's a code camp, but it's free, so.
Yeah, it's truly free. That's where I heard about it also, and it's kind of like it's got, like you said, 800 hours of curriculum. I'm kind of like I say maybe about, I don't know, maybe a fourth of the way through the stuff over the last 2 weeks. Some things I kind of was familiar with before, so I could speed through, but they got a lot of problems, and all of them kind of give you like the hint of what kind of class to use. So after I kind of get to a point, I'm going to kind of look for a resource like that for the Python.
Nice.
So is that the one where after you go through the classes, that you're expected to do a certain amount of work for a not-for-profit to give you a portfolio, and then from there the portfolio along with the class should allow you to get a real job?
Yeah, I guess that's their thing. If you have after you have the 800 hours, then you qualify to do a non-profit project. I don't really think it's going to take 800 hours. It could take that long, but I'm really just, I like the fact that it's like bite-sized pieces of things that I could do daily. Sometimes I'm doing like multiple lessons in a day, and it's you know, I don't know if I'll get that far, but I'm just taking it until it gets boring. So
That's cool.
Okay.
yeah.
And once you get that JavaScript knowledge, you'll get that the front end. If you're building a web app, you'll be able to work on that as well as the back end. And I mean, I guess you could do it in JavaScript too, but you could do it in Python as well.
Yeah, that's kind of was the appeal, to do a lot of that responsive, reactive type stuff. That's kind of why I was like, all right, I'm going to need to know it eventually. Might as well do it now. I kind of think I know enough to do the backend in Python. Might not be pretty, but I can get through it. So I was like, all right, let me spend some time here so I could like just pump out some nice looking stuff kind of quickly.
Cool.
So Shane, question. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. Go ahead.
So does Pre-Code Camp cover any of the backbone stuff, or is it just kind of like, or no, I'm sorry, not backbone, like any of the different flavors of JavaScript, or is it just kind of vanilla?
No, it has everything. It's like it started out with HTML and CSS, and then hey, what I can do, let's see, can I share my screen?
Yeah,
If
sure.
you guys are that interested, I could show you the curriculum really quick. Let me see if I can figure this out. All right, screen share. Can you see?
Unfortunately, I can't see because I'm driving.
Oh yeah, well you can't see. Well, I won't bother anybody then, because I haven't tried that before. Can you see it, or can anybody see
Yeah,
it?
I can see it.
Yeah, I can see it.
Okay, so it starts with all of that. It's got basic JavaScript, object-oriented. It's got Angular, Node.js, Express, MongoDB. So it kind of takes you through everything. And within one of these, it's like these are like all kind of like challenges. This section here might have taken me like a week to go through all of these challenges that they have. And in the challenges, you're like it'll give you kind of a thing. What's most appealing about this thing is everything's in the browser, so it's a lot easier to kind of, how do you say, kind of just do it. You don't have to worry about moving files around, and it's a lot of practice. So like I'm all the way down to here with some kind of basic front end stuff, but I'm trying to move through it quickly to get down to like what you're saying, that Angular and that Node.js stuff. But if you're trying to do JavaScript, I recommend it.
Cool. I might check that out. That looks. It looks cool, and I hear a lot of people saying that.
It's kind of addictive. It really is. It's like you're like, okay, I want to see how fast I can get, and it's it's like just doing the programming every day. I tried looking for like stuff on like we were doing on Reddit and stuff for the Python, but sometimes some of those are like just so difficult to understand. Like, just what is the problem, and I wasn't getting through them fast enough.
Mm-hmm.
I just needed something that I could get a quick feedback on.
That's cool, and definitely good work there. I think it's interesting. A lot of people say that it's nice to have it in their browser, and I think that makes sense. You know, you've got your whole curriculum in your browser. You can reach it wherever you want. So it's convenient. Sweet.
Yeah, so kind of a shiny object, but I think it'll serve my overall goal.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, working towards your programming knowledge on the JavaScript side is definitely going to help you.
Yeah, and it even just how you do things in one language versus Python had made me appreciate Python a lot more. There's a lot of things where like you can access elements of a length in Python, elements of a string in Python. You can't really do that from what I've seen so far in JavaScript. You've got to kind of convert strings to arrays in order to access each character. So it's definitely giving me appreciation, and I think just being versed in different languages will help.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
And something that I don't really fully understand about JavaScript is the way that it does object or it does object. What's the right word? You kind of build classes up. It's not really object oriented the way that you do it in Python. It's I can't think of the right word. Anyway, it works differently in JavaScript.
Yeah, I noticed there's like a lot of like callback functions. That was like a new concept for me, where basically a lot of their classes you have to write a function in order to kind of use it, but it's just different. it's kind of like, it was a lot of problem solving. So, but yeah. But I'm here on Python Thursday, not JavaScript Thursday. So let's talk about Python.
All right, that sounds good. Hey Jay, I don't know if you're busy, then you don't have to talk. But if you want to tell us what you've been up to this past week, and you're not otherwise occupied, go for it. He's probably busy. Okay. I've done some Pythoning this past week. I think I announced on the channel. Where did it go?
Oh, sorry. Can you hear me?
Oh, there you are. Yeah, go for it.
Yeah, sorry. I was saying that I'm walking through GameStop right now, but no, my week was I've been sick for the most of it.
Oh, that's not good.
I'm a little bit better, and I actually took one of my off days to focus on ShowNoter a little bit. I showed a video. I think I put it in the Slack. Well, I think I sent it privately, so I could probably make that a little public. Kind of a little demo of how the new ShowNoter beta is coming along. I think
Sweet.
Jamal kind of saw some of it.
I saw a preview. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean it's pretty nice. I like the idea of separating the actual notes of ShowNoter and the links and all that good stuff, so that it became this. Now it's like a multi-page experience where you input your notes in. That's your starting point, and then after that you put in your description, you put in your title and things like that, and then it kind of compresses it all and gives you a nice little convenient link for you to use at the end. But,
that's cool.
I still haven't done any of the issues that Derek has requested because honestly they're a little bit above me right now. So I would definitely need to look into it more.
Cool. Well, good work on ShowNoter. I mean, I know that's been a project that you've had kind of as a hobby project going on for a while, and it's really coming together and looking like a useful functional site. So good work there.
Just the fact alone that you guys are like actually using it and coming up with ideas for it, I mean, to me that just speaks volumes in itself. I honestly didn't expect it to take off, and even like in our little group, I didn't expect it to take off. So, thank you for you guys who are like, hey, it's a product, it works, and I'm going to support it. I appreciate that.
Sure. Thanks for making stuff that helps us.
I have to admit that when you first put it up and I first heard about it, I was sort of like, well, this doesn't seem all that useful, but it is.
That's the cool part, is that it's like it's not much, and even like when you're using it, you're just like, the whole fact that I had like one bug of if certain internet providers, it breaks the system because they try to inject their own search results in. Like little things like that were just ticking me off, and the fact that you guys are like, oh yeah, no, keep it up because it we use it.
Nice.
But yeah, that was pretty much it. I mean, I haven't done too much with it. Hopefully, my goal is still January to do the public beta, because when you guys will all be able to use the new ShowNoter. I'm trying to make sure that I get as much of it ready to go. That way, I don't have to actually break it or break the database again. Because that would suck if a lot of people started using it and then all of a sudden I have to take the database down and they lose all their data.
Cool. Yeah, keep us posted.
Hey, are you using MongoDB or you did the post? What's the other one? The PostSQL.
I'm using MongoDB.
Okay. Cool.
And the setup for Mongo is actually really simple. I mean, I have a module that I import of just basically two different functions that I use to add to the database and to pull from the database, and I didn't need too much.
Sweet.
But all right, guys, I'm gonna keep listening, but I'm gonna get back to my date.
Okay.
Oh, are you at a date? Oh my.
Uh-oh.
Well, when you're married and your date is GameStop, it's pretty fun.
That's awesome.
That's commitment to Python Thursday.
That is commitment. All right,
All right, guys, take care.
All right.
Have a good one. All right. So this past week, I've been doing a little more Python than I have been previously. I did submit. I was working with Jonathan, who's not here tonight, but I sent a couple pull requests his way for his Twitter client. So, and I was working with Jay on a little domino thing that he's putting together. I think I submitted one pull request to him. So I did do a little work there. Also, I think you probably saw it on the Slack channel, but I don't know, that's backwards. I guess you can't really... All right, well, I'll just put it up there and it reads backwards. At least
No, it doesn't.
No, it does to me. I don't know why mine's inverted. Okay, so I got these little stickers. They're pretty cool. If anyone wants a couple, then just feel free to DM me, and I'm happy to send them out. I got them on a good sale, on a Black Friday sale at Sticker Mule, so they weren't really all that expensive, and I got a bunch of them. So there's a bunch here. So just let me know. I already got one on my laptop, and I've sent out a couple already. So I'm happy with the way they turned out, and I hope you guys enjoy them too. So that's what I've been doing. Oh, I also picked up this book that I'm checking out. It is a book.
Hello Web App? Was that the name?
Yeah, Hello Web App by Tracy Osborne. And it's a nice. I like the fact that it's not overly complicated, and it goes through setting up a Django application. It doesn't go into a whole lot of kind of confusing detail. It just gets you through and starts you down the path of making an application, one that you choose, which is kind of an interesting twist, rather than them choosing for you what it is you're building. She kind of said, I want you to take some ownership and pick the thing that you're going to be building, and hey, I'm going to help you out along the way with my book. So it looks interesting. I'm checking that out, and it's a good book so far. But that's what I've been doing with Python. And so let's see. I enjoyed doing the reading thing last week. If y'all want to do some of that, I'm happy to do that again. I picked something out to do that with. I think it's something that someone else had mentioned previously, but I'm not sure who did. Or if you guys want to do some live coding or something else, I'm happy to do that too.
Let's start with some reading, and then we'll see if we can do if there's time for live coding after that.
Sounds good. Let's do that. Go ahead and fire up my screen share. Okay, so this is a post by Peter Norvig. I think it's pretty famous. I know that someone has pointed me towards this post in the past. I'm not sure who it was, so I can't really take credit for finding this. But a 21 lines of Python 2.5 code that is a spelling corrector. So it's a nice, short, compact bit of code, but it's pretty impressive what he achieves in 25 lines. Here, I'll throw the URL into the here. Okay. So here's the code right here. This is really all there is to it. Like I said, it's 21 lines. But I figure it's got to be pretty dense because it's a full-on spell corrector. So it's going to take the text that you put into it, put those words in the dictionary, and then I assume it's going to give you, here's an example here. So correct spelling, you pass it a string, and it gives you the correct word based off of an incorrect word. So that's the functionality there. Or here, corrector spelled with a K, and actually with an E instead of an O, and it gives you the actual correct word. And it talks a little bit here about how it works, etc. But let's first dive into the code. Maybe we'll have to go look into how it works, but see if we can figure out what's going on here. So, looking at it, first line is importing regular expressions, which I assume he's going to use for some sort of pattern matching, and collections. So, some kind of special collection other than a list or a dict. Next line, which is kind of interesting. I've never seen a one-line function like this. So it defines words, which takes a variable called text, and in a single line, it is then returning the results of a regular expression. So it's going to return. Derek, you might need to help me with this, but I think this is. It's returning any series of lowercase letters.
Yeah.
Okay, so the plus is one or more?
The plus means one or more. The brackets mean it's a class.
Okay.
And the A to Z means anything from A to Z.
Okay, so this is going to return a list of words, basically.
Yeah, it's going to return a what they call a match object, and in that match object will be a list of all the words that are in the text.
Okay. But this is going to get rid of the punctuation or numbers or other extraneous stuff that's in there.
Correct.
Okay. And has anyone else seen a Python function defined on a single line like this before? I didn't even know you could do that.
No.
Okay. Okay, so the next line is train, and it takes a features parameter. And let's see, so model is collections default dict lambda 1. So, or is that an L? I assume that's a 1.
That's a 1.
Okay.
I believe what a default dict is it's a dictionary where it doesn't give you an error if you try to access something that's not there.
Okay, maybe it gives you a default value?
It gives you a default value, and that default value is apparently a function that just returns 1.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so the default value is defined by a function, and in this case, he doesn't need really a function, he just needs 1, so his function essentially returns 1.
Yeah, I'm sort of surprised that it's a function and not just the value 1.
That is interesting. I guess you could have it return the length of the dictionary instead as your default value if you wanted to do something like that. Yeah, I don't know. Huh.
Yeah, I don't get it.
Okay. Well, I think you're absolutely correct there. That is essentially it's a dictionary where each key is going to have a default value of 1. And then, so for each of the items and features, whatever they are, we're assigning those to F, and then we are increasing the value for F as a key in model. So when we reference into that default dictionary for each of the whatever features are, it's going to increment it by 1. So each time it comes across it.
Yeah.
So we had like the quick fox, and we ran it through this. We come back out with a dict with 3 keys. The quick fox, and each of them would have a value of 2.
That's how I'm reading it.
Okay. Okay, so n words equals train, which is that method that we just, or that function that we just looked at. Words, which is this other function we just looked at. File bigtext.read. So I assume big text, maybe it's in here somewhere. Big text, I assume, is going to be our dictionary, right? Maybe?
That's what I would assume.
Let's see. Okay, now we're ready to see how the program works. We'll read a big text file which consists of about 1 million words. The file is a concatenation of several public domain books. Oh, so it's not a dictionary. This is like learning, machine learning almost. It's a concatenation of several public domain books from Gutenberg and lists most frequent words from Wiktionary and British National Corpus. So it seems.
So presumably, the is going to be in there with
A lot.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, and I think you're right that it's trying to find word frequency.
Yeah.
That the most frequent words will have a higher count, while the less frequent words will have a lower count.
Agreed.
Okay. That's being stored in this n words. Okay. Then we just have a string that has every character in the alphabet, the lowercase alphabet. And now we get to the largest function in this code. It's called edits L or edits 1.
Edits 1.
Edits 1. And it takes word as a parameter. This one looks like it might take a little work to get through. So splits. Splits is going to be a list comprehension. It's going to take the numbers. It's going to take the index of every character in the word plus 1. But since it's for I and range, we're just going to get an index for each character of the words. So if it's the, we will take the index of 0, 1, 2, 3. Plus 1.
0, 1, 2, and 3 is what the range is going to give us. And then I think what it's doing is it's splitting it. So it would give you, because you've got tuples there.
Oh, you're right. It's splitting it.
So I think what you end up with is something like for it would be the tuple of T, comma HE,
Mm-hmm.
and then TH, comma E, and then THE, comma nothing.
Okay, and you probably also have nothing, comma THE, right?
Yeah, you're probably right.
And that gives us 4, which makes sense because it's giving us 4. We're doing all on one side and then each, basically moving that split through each possible space in the word. Okay, that's interesting. I don't know where he's going with that, but I think you're right. That's what he's doing. Okay, now it's deletes, and this is another list comprehension. And it's only a list comprehension if B, the second half of the split, is not none. So it will not work on the case where the is in the first part of the tuple and there's nothing in the second part of the tuple. And it's going to
take the first half, and for the second half, it's going to drop off the 0th character. So what we're going to get in deletes is a list of all of the words formed by dropping 1 letter.
Oh, okay. Oh, okay. So the first time it comes through, it's THE and none, and it skips that because B is none, and it's not going to do it. The second time through, it would be T and then HE. Oh no, do I have this backwards? Change your word. Oh, okay. So we did THE and none. So the next one would be what? TH and then E, and it would return TH.
Right, because when we take that slice of B, we'd get nothing.
We'd get nothing. Okay,
and then we'd have T and HE, and we'd remove the H.
It would just be TE.
Yep.
And then finally we had nothing in THE, and it would remove the T and just have HE.
Yep.
Okay. That is surprisingly concise for as much logic as is packed in there.
Yep. I have a feeling that's what we're going to have going on here.
Yep, transposes. So, kind of following along with deletes, I'm assuming this is rearranging some of the letters. Let's see. So, again, we're working with splits. And if the length of the second half of the tuple is greater than 1, then we're going to keep the first half of the tuple the same, and we're going to rearrange the first 2 letters of the second half of the tuple. So this isn't going to happen too much with THE, but in longer words it'll happen more times, but you would end up maybe with TEH.
Yeah.
Okay. All right, so that's those 3. We got another one here, replaces. Again, we're working with splits.
But we're also working with C being in the alphabet.
Yeah, is this a... Is
it's
this
a
like
double.
A double?
Yep.
Whoa, I've never seen a double list comprehension.
I have, but not often.
Okay, so let's start with this here, because I think this is the first part. So, well, we've got an if here. So we're... No, but I think this if kind of belongs to that second part. So we're going to iterate through each letter of the alphabet here, because the alphabet is here, and we're going to go through each letter of the alphabet. And if B in splits exists, then we're going to do kind of like we did with deletes, except instead of deleting that first letter of the second half, we're going to insert each letter of the alphabet, making a new combination.
Yep.
Okay. Wow. Okay. And inserts. Looks like it does the same thing, except it's not removing the letter first.
Agreed.
It is instead just sticking it in there. And then it makes a set. So I believe a set takes, it's kind of like a list, except that you would only get a single instance of any word, of any item in it. So it's going to remove duplicates.
I think that is, I think it's a better idea to think of it as a dict with no data attached to it.
Okay.
Would it?
Yeah.
My
I think
problem,
that's the same, because your keys, you're only going to have any single key one time.
Yeah, I'm just worried. When you say a list, I think of the keys as having to be numbers. And I don't think you're going to have number keys in set.
Okay. Yeah, I think you got a good point there. It's not going to be indexed by numbers. It's going to be indexed by the actual contents.
Yeah.
But here, we can double check that. But I think you're right.
And that set is going to contain all of those words that we've just created.
Yep. What is this here? Let's run this. What's it do? Didn't do anything. So let's try set a. True. Okay, so foo is in B.
How about just print B?
Okay.
All right.
That makes sense. So foo's in B, bar is not in B, and it's just a set. It's every item in there. But if we one more thing to try here. Put something in twice. Yep, it condenses it down, so that's only a single time.
Yeah.
Cool. Okay, so that's what we're doing here, and that's our final return. Is basically, so this edit is going to return a list of all possible, well, maybe not all possible, but all probable permutations of the word with spelling errors. If you have two consecutive spelling errors, I don't know that it'll find it, but if you have a single character misspelled, then it's going to be included in this.
Yeah.
Okay. And known edit 2 takes a parameter of word, and it will return. Oh, this is a list comprehension syntax in a set, which is another thing I haven't seen.
Yeah, I've heard that you can do set comprehensions, although I don't know if I've seen one ever used either. But I haven't really seen sets used before either.
Yeah. Okay. So it's a set comprehension. That's a new term for me. And I think, kind of like with the list comprehension, that this is kind of the core engine driving this. So for what is E1? So maybe this is the one driving it. For E1 and edits one word, so we're going to run for a given, say, corrector. It's going to run that edits function and find all the permutations.
Yep.
And it's going to go through each one of those permutations and pass that permutation back through this permutation. So that would account for a double misspelling. So if you have two incorrect letters of some form, it will do that, but only if. Oh, whoa! So it's only going to return. It's only going to return a value if one of those results actually is one of the trained words.
Yep.
Wow, that is a whole lot of logic packed into one line.
Yeah.
So it runs through this edits twice, and it's only going to be included if it was learned in these huge text files that it read, and then it will return a list of all of the items. So basically what it's returning is, known edits. It's returning all of the words that it could possibly be.
Yep.
Within. Okay. And then known words is another one of these one-liner functions. Maybe that's a Python 2.5 thing. Or, I don't know. Oh, I think Jay is turning.
I don't know what I'm doing.
Don't give me the phone. I'm driving.
I mean, we could let's finish reading through it.
Okay.
But then we could always fire it up, toss it into and try running it in Python 3.
Yeah, sounds good. Okay, so known words. This is going to return another set comprehension, and it's going to pass it a list of words, but I think Jay's unmuted again.
Can you guys hear a rumbling or something?
Yeah.
We hear you talking. Oh, and that was a delayed muting of Jay. I don't know why. That's not what I want. I want this one. Okay, so this is going to, you're going to pass a list of words or some kind of collection of words into this, and it's only going to return the ones that it knows.
Yeah.
Based off of that big text file. Okay. And finally, correct, which is the interface to this. Correct words. It's going to create a list of candidates based off of. Oh, I'm going to have to break this down. So there's 3 possibilities here because I see 2. No, there's 4 possibilities because I see or. So candidates are either it is a known word or it is one of its permutations is a known word.
Hold on? This is going to be important.
Okay.
Do we know if that or short circuits?
I don't know. I don't. Python has short-circuiting ORs, but let's find out. This is probably not going to search what I want it to, because or is a difficult word to Google.
Yep, both and or operators short circuit, according to Stack Overflow with a reference to the docs.
Okay, well that you are correct. That is important. So it's only it's
Hey,
basically going to do like
explain that, please.
A short circuit is it will test each one individually. So it'll test the first one, and if it can tell the truth value of the entire expression by the first one, then it will stop evaluating.
And vice versa for the and statement, because
Yep.
they all true.
So in this case, we've got an or, so if the first one evaluates to true, it'll stop looking.
So
So basically, it's prioritizing these. This
Yep.
being the most. This one will short circuit the rest if this is true, and then on down the line.
Yep.
So I'm not looking at the code right now. Actually, never mind. I'm not even going to ask my question because it really would determine whether or not I'm looking at the code or not. It was going to be a question of using and or versus any and all.
Any would be.
Because basically, any to me is an or statement given a list, or sorry, some type of interval, and then same thing with all, but that would just be like the and variant of it. So like I said, it doesn't really make sense if I'm not looking at the code because I don't know what I'm looking at. I'm just listening.
Right.
Yeah. Is any an operator, or is that just the way you're describing it?
It's it's a function.
Yeah, it is.
Okay.
It's any, and it takes an interval, and if it says if any of the values within that interval are true, then it returns true.
The thing is, we aren't returning true here.
Okay.
So
works for me.
I think the main difference is you wouldn't be able to prioritize with the any. Whereas this one, you're returning the first one that is true.
Yeah, and that was kind of where I was leading to with my question is, when you were saying and or short-circuiting, that's what I thought you were referring to, but I was, for some reason in my head, I was thinking any and all. So I was wondering if any and all short-circuited as well.
They might
probably.
Yeah.
Yeah. Most likely. I'm sure there's a lot of and or statements within an any and all.
And it might even be written in C.
Oh, let's hope not. No, I'm kidding.
Okay.
All right, guys. Sorry about that. Continue.
Yeah, no problem. Good question. Okay, so that's also a good point that this is short-circuiting. So we're not getting the cumulative set of values. We're getting the first one of these that evaluates to something other than null set. So this is essentially saying if the word that we passed in is actually a word, then that is our correct value. The next one says if a permutation of that word is in fact a real word, then return the set of permutations that are in fact words. The third one says this is that double permutation. Essentially the same thing, return the set of double permutations that are in fact words. And then finally, return it because we have no idea what this is. Because A, B, C, D, E, F, and I can't figure out what that actually is supposed to be. Would you say that's correct? I think we might have lost Derek. Maybe I'm muted. Am I muted? No. Derek, you're muted. No. Unmute if you're there. Okay, so either it's a known word, or it has one or more permutations that are known, or it has one or more double permutations that are known, or we have no idea what it is and return that anyway. Oh, I think you're back.
Yeah, I'm back. Sorry.
Okay. And then we're going to return the most common word. So some of these can return more than one word, and we're going to return the most common of those. And then we're done. Cool. That is an impressive bit of code there. 21 lines, and it finds all reasonable permutations of a word to find the correct spelling based off of what's essentially a sort of machine learning type I don't want to say algorithm, but process. I think now, let's see if I can get this to run. I'm going to need a big text file to run it from. So let's...
Isn't the big.txt included there?
It is. Thursday. Okay. Ah. Let's copy this in Vim.
Who?
Some other editor that doesn't do that.
I thought you were going to pull Emacs.
Not yet. I'm going to wait till I'm working on Clojure for that. And here. No. What am I looking for? This Thursday spell. And then at the end of this file, we'll try correct def. Python. Let's do it something that's misspelled. one I always do. Exactly. All right, let's see what it comes up with. This is Python 3. Yep. And Python. Oh, it's not defined. Okay. Might need to do that as an open. I assume that is a way we used to be able to do it. Let's try it in Python 2.7. Okay.
Did I miss it? Did you save that file in the folder?
I think I did. Let me double check.
No, the big.txt.
No, I didn't.
Yeah,
I thought I did. Good catch. Good catch. Where did that go? Is it in? Re-download it. I obviously did not save it where I thought I did. Save as Python Thursday spell big.txt. Save. Oh, failed. It failed. But this time it looks like it worked, maybe.
I hate it when my files are forbidden.
No, what's up with that? Okay, it's there now, so that's good. All right, so let's try. What Python are we in now? Python 3. So let's try it. Oh, that's fine. Now we're back to Python 2, and let's see if it works here. Okay, so that must be a Python 2 thing that you can use this format to read everything in a file in one go. This file big, or file name dot read, and that just dumps it all in Python 2. So it recognized that you were in Python were words, or it didn't know otherwise. It didn't correct those two words. Maybe it didn't work correctly. We said that we knew that it would correct that word. H.
Well, it appears to be broken.
It does. Let's try grep right now. Cat big dot text. Type that to grep cheese. Word cheese is not in big dot text.
What? Why are you doing it like that?
Where do you want me to find it?
No, it's grep the big.text.
Okay, that way.
mean, it gives you the same result, but why pipe it through an extra process that you don't need to?
Okay. Point.
All right.
So, it's in big.text.
Whoa, 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 whoa.
Oh, it's forbidden. Whoa.
That would break it.
It would break its little mind if big.text actually had what we thought it was. But it's just saying it was forbidden. I don't have access to it. So apparently big.text is not, well,
I can access it.
we loaded it into the browser. I don't know what's going on. Let's see how huge it is and maybe copy it out of the browser.
Well, load it up in the browser, and then you should be able to save that page.
That's what I did. And I got a forbidden. Oh, maybe it was still loading. It's still going. Maybe also we could do big. Like that.
Good idea.
Cool, thanks. All right, so
Yep, that looks right.
okay.
I don't know why there's Python code at the end of it, but it's there.
All right, fair enough. Okay, so now let's try this. Okay, we got some corrections here. We got receive corrected. We got the corrected, and we got cheese corrected. It didn't know newbie, which I suppose makes sense because big.text probably didn't have that word in it. It didn't. And it works. Anyone have anything they want to throw at it? What I wanted to do. But it worked. Anyone have a word or phrase they want to throw at it?
Not that I can think of.
Okay. Cool. Put this up at the top. That's pretty darn cool.
So now, what were
No,
you
I put
were you
that at
able to
I put that at the beginning of the wrong thing.
were you able to get it to run in Python 3 or just Python 2?
That was Python 2. Let me do Python 3. This is Python 3. That file thing doesn't work. So if we
According to what I'm seeing here, you want to use io.open.
okay. Uh, and is the syntax like a straight drop-in replacement for a file?
I think so.
Will I need to import IO?
Probably.
Give it a shot. You are absolutely correct. Does that work under Python 2? does. Nice. Very nice. Let me see one more thing. Not PEP 8 compliant. I want to see if it doesn't like that that single line function thing.
That doesn't surprise me.
No, it doesn't really surprise me either. Extra parens, that makes sense because this is Python 2, and I put the parens in. Missing function doc strings, okay. What line?
Ooh, rated 0 out of 10.
It's line 5. 0.00 out of 10. Which just goes to show that, you know, I hate to say this, but maybe PEP 8 isn't everything. It's very important. I'm not going to say it's not. But I thought that was pretty impressive code regardless of its compliance with linting. So no docstring, more than one state. Okay, so it threw a multiple statements.
Yeah.
Issue for having a single liner. But I didn't even know you could do that. Let's see if I can single line function definition. So yes, you can do it, but there are restrictions. You can skip one line feed, but not two. Oh, so this works because you're skipping a line feed here. But if you try to bump that up onto this line, huh? I assume that that is frowned upon as a practice, though.
Yes. It goes against PEP 8.
Yep. Interesting. That's the changes. So here they were missing doc strings. Okay. I think this is mine, the superfluous parens. That was the parens I added at the bottom.
You can fix that one. You need... So that's going to be because we're working in Python 2. So you can
do this instead. Work on. And I can say Python and I went. I might not have it installed.
I mean, you certainly aren't going to want to remove those parentheses because you're going to want it to be Python 3 compliant. But you can do that with a, you can fix that with an import line.
Oh, the futures?
Yeah.
Import futures. Oh, we got a 2. We got a 2 in Python 3. And we don't have the extra parens.
Multiple imports. Does it not like that we're importing multiple things on the same line, apparently?
I think so. Let's see. String module, docstring, multiple imports on one line, RE collections, and IO. Yeah, it doesn't like that. Invalid variable name, F. Invalid
I don't remember having a variable named F.
It's a file. No, it's not a file. It's probably in one of these like set comprehensions because there were some really small variable names there.
No, it's where we're building that the default dict.
Where is that? Oh, you're right there. Invalid constant name alphabet. Does that have another meaning in Python? Is that why it's invalid?
No, my guess is that it doesn't fit some sort of naming convention.
Oh. Let me see. Python, why is alphabet invalid? Python showing invalid variable name and output.
Should be all caps.
Is that what it is? That it should be all caps because it's a constant?
Yep.
Okay. Like, so N-words is all caps, and it's saying that alphabet should be all caps too.
Yep.
Interesting.
It's determining that it's a constant, presumably because it's a module level variable.
Okay, that makes sense. A module level variable that's never reassigned.
I don't know if it's that smart.
Okay. What else do we get in here? Redefined outer name. What is that? Redefined. There it is. Redefining name words from outer scope. Oh, because words is a function, and then it's also used here as a parameter.
Yeah, that's bad form and can be confusing.
Yeah, that makes sense. I mean, in this case, you read it and it makes sense, but I could see where having that and that would be a problem.
Yeah, in 21 lines of code, it's not a problem. In 1,000 lines of code, that could be a big deal.
Yeah, I would agree. Oh, it also doesn't like the extra white space and how he's lined up all these list comprehensions.
Yeah.
It doesn't like that. Is that a C thing? Because I've seen C coders that do that.
I've seen it in C. I've seen it in other languages as well.
Mm-hmm.
I find that, especially in cases like this, it makes things easier to read.
I would agree that we have 5 contiguous similar lines, and lining them up like this did make them easier to read, especially in the case of these last two, where you could easily see that they are very similar. Just that particular bit is different, and then you don't have that at the end. Anything else interesting in Pilot's output? Exactly once. Oh no, that's that same splits thing. Even on this line, where you don't have an issue here, it didn't like this. It wants a space.
I can't tell what you're pointing at because my screen is frozen.
Oh, okay. On the transposes line, for the list comprehension, it ends with if splits len be greater than 1.
Okay.
And for the greater than operator, there are no spaces around it, and it doesn't like that.
Okay, I can see that.
Well, that was cool. I think that's another successful code reading.
Yeah, I think so.
Awesome. Well, if anyone has, we got one more Python Thursday this month, taking the 31st and Christmas Eve off. But next week we'll be meeting up. If anyone has code they want to bring in to read, please do. I can always have something as a backup if no one does, but I'd be happy to look at code that someone else brings in.
Okay.
Cool. Let me. What am I doing? Stop screen sharing. There it is. Cool. All right. Well, that's all I have for tonight. Did anyone have anything else they wanted to do or talk about?
Not really.
Okay.
Thanks a lot. That was pretty interesting.
That was cool, wasn't it?
Yeah. A little over my head, definitely. But I got a lot of stuff to Google now.
Sweet. Yeah. It's kind of amazing how much logic is packed into 21 lines of code.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's the sort of code where you look at it and you're like, I can follow everything that you've done, but there's no way I could have written this.
Exactly. I mean, given enough time, I could write something that did something similar. It definitely would not be so succinct. It would probably be like 1,000 lines, not 21 lines. It probably would work as well.
When you think about it like that, you're like, oh my gosh, it's like, how much time will I have wasted by the time I feel proficient enough to do something like that?
Yeah. Well, I think that's one of the benefits of reading code is you at least, I mean, I don't think I could right now go and rewrite this in 21 lines without looking at it, but I've seen that it can be done, and it gives some ideas as to how you might go about it if you were presented with a situation like this. So I think that's cool.
Yeah, very.
Awesome. All right. Well, I think unless anyone else has anything else, I can go ahead and call it a night.
Thanks a lot, gentlemen.
Hey, thank you.
Sounds good.
Cool.
I will see you folks next week.
All right. Have a good one.
You too.
Happy holidays.